Are live. Hey y'all, it's your girl who swirls, Karazin. Welcome beyond Black and White Elite. I have a very special guest, somebody who is very near and dear to my heart. Her name is Sonya Duncan. And Sonya Duncan has a unique skill and gift. She is a psychological astrologer. Now, if you've never heard of a psychological astrologer before, that's okay, because we are going to break it down for you what it means and how the stars can change the trajectory of your life, literally. So, Sonya, let's start with you telling us what psychological astrology is, and then let's talk about what it isn't.
Hi everyone. Hi Yummy Mummy. Right, I've got to put my glasses on. Yeah, I am in my 50s and I've had the Chiron return. I survived the Chiron return. I can see. I can see. Hi everybody. Okay. Well, you and I, and hi ladies, you and I, we had this conversation in the Pink Pill, and if you're not in the Pink Pill, you missed a treat. Yeah. we really spilled the tea, but we're going to keep it nice and civilized. Well, psychological astrology is not sun sign astrology that's popular, that everybody understands. Sun sign astrology that everyone has heard of and usually think they know all about is based solely on the position of the sun, whatever sign it was in, a sign of the zodiac it was in at the time, on just the day of your birth, and that's it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There are not just 12 types of people in the world. I repeat. Now that's silly. No. Psychological astrology is the practice of applying the language and insights of psychoanalytical theory to your whole entire symbolic birth map. Here's one I made earlier. We use the entire birth map. And this map, this symbolic map, is drawn for the exact moment and location of your birth, the exact time, the exact date, the exact place. And what we do in psychological astrology is we apply psychoanalytical theory to this symbolic blueprint of your psyche. Don't ask me why. I don't know why. And if any astrologer tells you they know why, we don't know why. It's just as above, so below. For some extraordinary reason, if we erect a map of the heavens in a particular way, yeah, and I am a tropical humanistic astrologer, Western, for some unknown reason, it gives us insight, and only insight, into the themes, what is highlighted, the challenges, your childhood, your upbringing, your mom, your dad, how you relate, and a whole plethora of indications about you. I don't know why.
So let's talk about what it is not, because are people? Do you have people who think, you can look at me? Are you a psychic? Can you look at me and see what's going to happen 6 months from now?
Welcome to my world. It's the story of my life. Now, I do understand, because not many people, until I put it on the map, at least in Britain, for a decade, not many people had ever heard of psychological astrology and didn't know what we did. That is for the elite, dear. Yeah, me and my big mouth. Yeah. Mm-hmm. As I've said many times, the rich, powerful, and famous have always used astrology. Some of the greatest minds in history were astrologers, like Carl Jung himself, Sir Isaac Newton, many, many, many others, and they still use astrology in all walks of elite life.
Yeah.
Because
this is an ancient thing. Like, I want you guys to understand, like, You know, kings and queens used astrology.
And they still do.
You know, you had, you know, people in the English court who regularly used astrology.
All the courts use them, and the Chinese and the Indian use it to this day as a regular part of their life.
Yes,
You know,
of
just
their
ordinary people.
Of you know, of everything. Like you had, and one I think that is most notable that many of us can probably remember from recent memory is Ronald Reagan's wife. Who
The Reagans were not the first or the last or the only to use serious astrology with whole maps and qualified, trained people, to give them the heads up. They were just the ones who got caught.
Yeah, because it's not something. It's something that it's a quietly kept secret. It is something that the elites use, but they're very quiet and discreet about how they communicate it.
Well, like most things, powerful people want to keep their power and keep their secrets and their methods. So what they did was they gave you the sexed up, watered down and dumbed down version of astrology. So the masses get 12 signs and a laundry list of stereotypes based on one factor. Yes, the most visible, the most conscious factor, the sun, on one factor in your entire birth map. So if you were to have an interest, and many people still do, despite their so-called better judgment, you'd get stuck on, it's rubbish, you know, the stereotypes and the ridiculous, preposterous predictions from your sun sign, and you get stuck there, or you think it's a sin. But as we've discussed, quite as it's kept, if you were to go to the Vatican right now, down into the catacombs, you'd find a cornucopia of astrological artifacts. But we won't go too far into that. Let's just say Google it.
So tell people, you know, I know you're a friend of mine. Sonya is very active in our Pink Pill Secret group, which, you know, she did a whole overview that was very comprehensive. And aren't you sad you missed it? Well,
totally.
If you want to be a part of that, then you need to join the Pink Pill.
They got the real tea behind closed doors.
Exactly.
This is the civilized version. And thank you so much. Thank you, my pearl who swirls.
You are so welcome.
For your support, and you know, to get me off to a good start in this new social media age.
No, and you guys will probably know her because Sonya has been commenting on pretty much every YouTube video I've ever done. If you see Sonya, you know, it's like people who are in the chat room, you're like, oh, is that Sonya? Yes, it's that Sonya. So Sonya, I want people to know, because a lot of people don't know. They may think, oh, she's just some chick, you know, whatever she did. You know, who are you? Who are you, and what are your cred? What's your cred? What are your qualifications?
What's my cred? Okay, well,
what's your background and like how you got to be doing what you're doing?
Well, I was always a scholar, always a very scholarly person, and I read humanities at university. I was born with a pen in my hand, and when I was younger, I wanted to be a journalist specializing in gender politics. Yeah, I was a feminist before I knew what a feminist was. And a big fan of Germaine Greer when I was like 2, and you know, that was going to be my trajectory. And then, because you know, this was 80s Britain, and all the bold and the beautiful of the Black community, we're a much smaller community than obviously in the States. We all used to hang out, you know, in the clubs and things like that, and a lot of my friends were actually pop stars. And a friend, I was just talking to a friend, and he was like, you know, my voice was baritone then. Yeah, he went up from singing, and he was like, you know, you can sing. And I was like, good God, no. I am an intellectual. I'm not a dancey, modelly person. Absolutely not. But I always loved music, and I was curious. And I had a nasty habit of soliciting rewriting of my friends' lyrics. Some of them were hit songs because I was like, ooh, baby, wow, baby, no. Yeah. So I was,
these people. So
no, they shall remain unnamed. They know who they are. 80s pop stars from Britain, you know who you are. But I became fascinated because I always loved music. So I became fascinated, and I realized that maybe I could, because I'm very preachy, yeah. And I realized that I could get my message across faster because it's all about speed with some Geminis, yeah. And I'm one of the speedy ones. I'm slowed down a bit now, but I was very speedy. I could get my preaching across quicker and with a greater likelihood of receptivity by singing it. But I just thought, well, maybe I'll be a songwriter as well on the side. And then this friend took me to who at the time was the foremost vocal coach. He coached everybody, even big stars like Billy Ocean and people went to the late great Glyn Jones, Welsh ex-opera singer, a lovely man. And he just took me there for fun to see what would happen. And well, out popped this big Tina Turner voice. I mean, who knew? And so I do nothing by halves. And so I got my voice trained by him. And as fate would have it, within I think it was within about 3 or 4 years, I'd somehow bumped into a record deal, and I was hooked. And I write phonetically, so I don't play any instruments. So I got together with some very, very talented people who wrote the music, and I wrote most of the melodies and the lyrics, and we combined. And I was always, I could never give up the scholarly side. I mean, I am a Gemini, and in some ways, yes, I will tell you, despite the fact that I would go on to tell you that your sun sign is not particularly descriptive of your behavior, I do have a lot of planets in Gemini and a lot of mercurialness in my chart. So I can be quite classic Gemini, and Gemini's prime directive, as I call it, is to unite the opposites within themselves and in the world, good, bad, black, white,
yeah,
scholar, or showman, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember what I was saying. Gosh, I'm perimenopausal. What was I? What was I going to say?
Well,
What did you ask me?
How did you transition into doing this work, being a psychological astrologer, and what credentials did you acquire along the way?
I can remember what I was going to say now. So I had to have both a tandem. I couldn't give up scholarly pursuits, even though I was a recording artist. And so when my recording career bumped into a triangle, yeah, and let's just say some powers that be that I was not prepared to fully cooperate with, and we'll leave that there. Yeah, I just retreated back into my scholarly side, and I decided, well, I was still struggling with the music business, and didn't really know what was going on back then. Yeah, so I thought, okay, I know what I'll do. I want to study something again, so I think I'll go and study astrology. And of course, I knew all about astrology until I didn't. Yeah. So I trundled off first to one of our adult institutes, just college, because we actually have astrology courses at colleges in Britain. I'm not sure about.
Wait, they have astrology courses in Britain?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Adult institutes, and I think now, if I'm not mistaken, there is actually a course. I think Nick Campion pioneered it. I don't know if it's still running. There was a university course in it as well at one point. So I got there, and it's like, yes, I know Capricorns are boring, Virgos are anal, Sagittarius are bouncy, Pisces are crazy, Cancers are caring, until I got there and they showed me one of these. And I was like, okay, I know nothing about astrology
Right.
apart from being able to recite a nice collection, a laundry list of these characteristics that all Geminis, all Cancers, every sign is supposed to all have and conform to. And
and that was interesting because you actually did a session with me. And this
a consultation.
was a very enlightening experience because, and you guys, I thought, okay, I'm a Cancer. So, you know, 1973 at 7:03 in the morning. And so, like, I was
Don't be putting that out there.
Looking at, you know, the generic, you know, what is a Cancer, you know, what are the characteristics? And when Sonya, when I had a session with her, she said to me, you aspire to your sun sign, but
you are becoming
factors that are at play when you talk about like your, you know, the time of your birth, you know, the position of the year, all of that is a factor that we don't necessarily factor in because we're just looking at the generic. But
signs, yeah.
To explain how, you know, I mean, and what's so crazy is that, you know, the secondary influences of my sign, you know, I was kind of like, ooh.
They're far from secondary, but I think you mean when we add up all of this.
Yeah, when you add up the influences of, like, you know, there's Leo influence,
rising,
Leo rising, and then you've got
Moon in Aquarius.
I'm always like, I can't stand Aquarius, and I'm like,
it's called projection, baby. But anyway, I will actually reiterate that, but I'll just quickly finish my cred.
Yes, go ahead.
That was just the beginning. So the whole world opened up. Of course, I was fascinated. I've got Scorpio rising. I have to know everything. And so I went from the Adult Institute course. Then I went on to the Faculty of Astrology, which is, you know, serious school. And then I bumped into the real heavyweights, the psychological astrologers at the CPA, which is the Center of Psychological Astrology, which was founded by the greatest living astrologer, in my opinion, and my mentor, even though I haven't seen her for 15 years, maybe, Dr. Liz Green herself. And that's when you graduate. So I studied over 5 years, and, you know, culminating in the Center of Psychological Astrology, where you know, have to train and you get qualified and certified. You cannot get up in the morning and say, I'm a psychological astrologer. No. It takes training. Yes, I went to school. It's a real discipline. Yeah. And basically you are trained in combining psychoanalytical theory, chiefly Jungian, who, as I've mentioned himself, was an astrologer, and he fell out with the Taurian Freud, the sex maniac. He fell out with Freud over the efficacy of astrology and other other esoteric disciplines, among other things. And yes, so chiefly Jungian psychoanalytical theory applied to the symbolic complete birth map. So no, you can't get up in the morning. And to answer your earlier question, but I do understand that people don't know. You're not supposed to know. It's for the elite. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And me and my big mouth, I just had to. I mean, I'm a showman. Yeah, I'm a Gemini. I've got to do both. I decided to open my big black mouth and take it public. Yeah, they didn't thank me for it. So I created and founded the Navigators, which was the UK's first and only group consultancy of certified professional psychological astrologers. And not only did we have a face-to-face practice, but we broadcast it by doing psychological horoscopes. Now, people on that level do not do horoscope columns, but we done them differently. We done them from a psychological perspective. and we didn't predict tall, dark, handsome checkbooks. We forecasted, which is like a weather report for for individual sun signs, climate. It had nothing to do with tomorrow. You're going to have a love interest. It doesn't work like that. But I'll talk about that. And the columns were legion. We did Marie Claire. We did some in Japan. I done many.
She's done.
Titles.
Yeah, so she had syndicated columns.
Loads. And I won't bore you now. You can see them on my pages that have just gone live, but we'll talk about that at the end.
Yeah.
And again, I can't thank my Pearl Who Swirls enough. So I did that. I told everybody. I even done columns in the States. I did Heart and Soul in the States for 3 years, 2.5 years. So that's my cred. And I've been an astrologer for 25 years.
Yeah, so you know what you're doing. So the question that I think everybody's going to ask, and it could, because it was something that I asked, is what's in it for me? Why would I want to seek the assistance, the expertise of a psychological astrologer? What's in it for me?
Well, for one, you'll be rescued from this sun sign nonsense that everyone's spouting, and these armchair aficionados running around YouTube talking about sexy, scary Scorpios, and how all water signs are sensitive and cry. So first of all, you will be liberated from that. And even though many people say, "Oh, I don't believe in that rubbish," they cannot, stop looking. I'll be out at a party and people will rush up to me, stick their palm out or something and say, "I don't believe in astrology, but my birthday is,"
right.
and they repeat their birthday as like a mantra, or they'll challenge, and I'll be like, "Listen, baby, I'm off duty, so why don't you get your people to call my people?" Yeah, because no. And or do me, and I'm like, yeah, book an appointment and pay your money. It doesn't quite work that way. So first of all, you'll be rescued from that, because no matter what most people say, they actually do consciously or subconsciously identify with their sun sign. So that will release you from that hell and a lot of misconceptions about yourself that may or may not be useful. Most importantly, and that's just the fun, but most importantly, if you have a symbolic map that not only can give you the view of the back of your head, and do it a lot quicker than straight psychoanalysis because you have a map, and you can have just a torch in the dark as to where you are on your journey and the kind of things that be coming up for you at any given time. Why wouldn't you use it? I've watched many people flaying in the dark, and with not much of a clue about themselves, but lots of fixed ideas or ID fixé or however you say it, that are not serving them well, and they are not blossoming to their full potential. So look, if I offered you a map, that could tell you when there were bumps in the road, or when the energy of the cosmos was for you, the best time to launch something, or when you've got a career change coming up, and we're not talking about the details. We do not predict in humanistic astrology, we forecast. So from this map, which is static, we, don't ask me why, we can see certain themes in your life, starting with the prime directive, which I'll speak about in a minute. Now, this is a static map, but the planets keep on moving symbolically, throughout the zodiac, and they make a relationship to your static complete birth map. We can use this relationship, if you're properly trained, to gain insight into the themes that are coming up for you at any given moment. There are generic cycles like the Saturn return that everyone has between 29 and a half and 30 and a half, which are generic, and all humans go through that. And I challenge anyone who is the other side of 30 and a half to deny that between 29 and 30 and a half, their life was completely restructured on many levels, or they just went into a complete cave, and felt like, life was over and didn't come out. And in that case, nothing was restructured.
Between 29 and 39, there was a lot of things going
31, on. 31, and a half.
All the kids.
It's made in psychological astrology. It's when you come of age emotionally. At these Saturn transit at 21, you come of age physically. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of things in the straight world that are astrologically based. That's why you're not an adult, especially in the States. You are in Britain, but you're not a fully adult. Can't drink till 21 in the States. That is the Saturn transit that brings you to physical maturity. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, can a map help you to help you make certain decisions, tough decisions?
Well, of course. Mm-hmm. Well, let's put it this way. You haven't had a forecast yet, but just from the forecasting tidbits that I let you have while we were doing the natal interpretation, which is the first one, which is who are you? What does this map tell us about you? And how are you manifesting this map? Because this is a map and you are a person. So it's a dialogue, as you know. So I've got the map and the psychoanalytical training. And then when we dialogue, you don't sit there and I say, this is who you're supposed to be. You are this, that, the other. As you know, it's a dialogue. So I can begin to see the person come out of the map and begin to see how you manifest that map. Because, even if you share similar birth details with somebody else, born in the bed next to you at the same time to a different mum, or a twin 1 minute apart, how you choose, to live and manifest the potentiality in this map is unique to you. So when we sit together, I begin to learn how what is symbolized played out. Yeah.
So you sort of you give the map, but you also help to interpret what's going on so that the person you're focusing.
They are two different consultations. First, who are you? How have you manifested this symbolic map? Yeah. It's like putting you on my couch, but I don't have to do that for 5 years because I've got the map. Yeah. And it tells me where to start looking. But
and the thing is, you guys, is that it's not comfortable. Sonya will give you some insights about yourself that you're like, whoa, yeah, I didn't really want to talk about that. Or I didn't really want to talk about, what's going on there. But
it is very intimate and it is quite invasive. But how did you feel when we were finished?
I definitely felt hopeful. I felt more educated about myself and more at peace because I felt like, I had a direction. I understood myself a little bit more because I've always thought of myself to be very intuitive, but I'm not.
I think you are to a degree, but not as much as one might think.
There's certain things that I do, tactics that I can say, this feels right to me. But when it comes to knowing myself, I'm not as intuitive as I'd like to be. And so it was really...
Well, no one is. You can't see the back of your head without a mirror.
Exactly. So, so when you have somebody who shows you the back of your head and holds that mirror up to you, it's not always going to be comfortable, but it's going to be insightful. And I think that, my first session with Sonya was all about who I was, and how all of the things that happened in my life, how it, manifests, why I reacted certain ways, the people in my life, how to better understand why I do the things that I do. I think that
and attract what you attract.
attract what you attract. And so I think
Hi, haters.
and so it's really a good exercise in really looking at yourself and having somebody who is a little bit objective in that they can give you, say, here, this is where you're going, here's what you're doing, here's your influences, here's what you're doing, does this make sense to you? And it's the same thing with Christianity. Like, does it agree with your spirit? And then you say, you know what, it really does agree with my spirit. This does sound like me. This does sound like what I'm going through. And it's the same type of deal, right, Sonya?
Yeah, I think the shock is because people have got these preconceived ideas about pop astrology.
Mm-hmm.
I do prepare them. I told you, I sent you all the literature. I do try to prepare people, but I think it's always a shock when they realize that what psychological astrology is and does is basically roll up 5 years of psychoanalytical inquiry that you would go and see a psychoanalyst for in an hour and a half, after I've researched your chart for about 2 hours before you see me. So it condenses it, which of course is quite shocking. I try to let you know that this is going to be a very intimate process, but some people just hold on to their misconceptions, and I
don't believe you. I mean, because
no,
I'm honest with you, I was just like, she's a friend, I'll indulge. So it's like a lot of skepticism. There's a lot of skepticism with people who are just like, meh,
You didn't listen to our mutual friend, Catalyst Kendall. Kendall told you. She told everybody because she was the very first.
Even still, you just kind of like, you kind of look at it. And here's the thing, like I was one of those people back in my early 20s, and people probably will never admit to this. But when I was in my early 20s, I was living in LA, and I was giving like whatever extra money I had to some psychic on the corner. How was my life? Is this the one? Is this the right guy? And so we all sort of want that magical, tell us where we're running to go. And of course, it never worked out. They would give me like, water in a bottle and say it was like holy water, and sprinkle it on yourself and say these things and spin around 3 times and this guy's going to be yours. And it's just like complete and utter crap. But
at the Navigators, towards the end, before I decided to go in a different direction, I became a born again Christian for 6 years. That's a long story, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I decided to pause that part of my life. I never could quite stop being an astrologer, but I had a good try for 6 years, and that's why I have a lot of empathy for people who allow religious prohibition to stop them from using one of the best life hack tool that we have at our disposal. And unfortunately, a lot of the time that is Black women. And so I do understand. I just wish I could. I wish I could take them to the Vatican, and then they would perhaps begin to consider the fact that the people that the leaders of faith, all faith, they themselves utilize this powerful tool, and they don't want anybody else to. But we'll leave that there. But
so describe to us the process. So we have people who are going to be watching this, and they're thinking, okay, how can I integrate? Like, how can this help me in my daily life?
It's all about your daily life. Know thyself, is number one. If you want your daily life to be one that is cooperative with your nature, and cooperative with the energies around you, so you don't swim up tide. If you want to go with the flow and understand what the flow is for you, and what actually the themes of any particular time period in your journey, then I think that's the start of everything in your daily life. If you would like it to be less challenging at times. Yeah. Now the process is quite simply, you obviously you book a consultation and you provide me with your exact time and location, date of birth. Now,
that's important, right?
It's very important, and I'll explain just a little bit about what a chart is in a minute, and what a sun sign really is about. What you call your star sign, and then we used to have to do it by hand when I started. Yeah, thank God now we all have rinky dinky computer programs that do it faster and quicker. Yeah, this is the only discipline where you have to be proficient in geometry, math, logarithms, all kinds of stuff. And people want to say, here's my palm. But I was going to say, that towards the end, before I moved in a different direction, we had, because we had so much requests for it, we had more on our team than just professional psychological astrologers. We had palmists, we had psychometrists, we had feng shui specialists and space clearers, but they were always the best at what they did. And I interviewed every psychic, every palmist, every tarot professional in Britain at the time. And I would say 90% of them were charlatans. 10% had the gift or the training, or a combination of the gift and the training, and were professional. And out of that 10% that had skill, ability, and gift, 2% were not insane. So so I've got a lot of respect for esoteric gifts. I just am very skeptical about who has them and who doesn't, and I think it's a lot fewer people than we imagine, and only a very small percentage that can use their gift in a targeted and responsible and professional, sensitive way. So I'm always very careful. I don't know what other gifts I may have, but I was trained to be a psychological astrologer, and yes, there is an element of magic. There is an element of talent, or shall I say, universe-given talent, where you have an aptitude for it, and you have to have a mind that's very good at processing symbols. I hope you can't hear the whole of Spain walking past.
A little bit.
Yeah, because the Mediterranean comes alive in the evening. Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm actually on my balcony. So move along. So we're one to talk. Yeah. But anyway, so I was going to say that. Now back to what you asked me. You have to bear with me, people. I'm in my 50s. I'm perimenopausal.
And doesn't she look amazing?
Thank you. Not today. I've just relocated for the winter 3 days ago, so I feel and look like the hag from hell.
No, you don't. If you look like the hag from hell, then I'm the Kraken.
I'm gonna have to get. No, you always look like a baby to me. I'm gonna have to start getting some Botox. I'm not going quietly. Yeah, I've never had plastic surgery. I'm a Gemini and I'm black, you don't really crack. However, let's hear this now. Should I have plastic surgery, which is my private business, I will not be ashamed. I will not go quietly by any means necessary.
Will not go quietly into that good night.
Although I do prefer TENS machines, that move whole muscle groups. It's much more effective to actually lift the muscles of the face.
An ultrasound wand, an exfoliating wand, and I love it. I've been meaning to share that in the pink pill, because I've been using it for.
Don't share it now. No, don't give them our special secret.
I won't now, but you guys could see, Chris's skin is looking so good. Like, I don't even have foundation on right now. So yeah.
I know you do. I've seen you come out the shower. I've seen you doing all sorts, and your skin is absolutely glowing. It really is.
Thank you.
So, what was I saying?
So we were just talking about, what's in it for us? How do we do this day to day? Where's the value in it?
Okay. Well, maybe it's time to sort of just do a quick whiz of just the most main factors. I can't give an astrology lesson. I don't teach. I haven't got patience, but I know lots of great astrologers who do, and I shall be referring to them. Yeah, but let's just say, okay. how this applies to daily life. Everything applies to daily life when it comes to knowing yourself, as I've said. But let's start with the sun sign. Yeah, the sun sign or star sign, as you touched upon, yeah, is not a collection of stereotypical behavioral patterns. It's not a laundry list. What it is, what it tells us, yeah, is what I call the prime directive. With the position of the sun in your map, your entire map, tells us about how you see yourself, your sense of identity, what you are aspiring to become. Yeah, the qualities that you value the most and want to be seen as. We gave the example of Cancer, so why don't we give a different one, because all we talk about is Cancer.
Let's talk about Libra. We had a couple of Libras.
Okay, Libra. Okay, Libra. We have a lot of Librans in the pink pillar that follow you. A lot of Librans and a lot of Leos. Yeah, that I've noticed. Let's talk about Libra. Yeah, if you are convinced that you are the most reasonable, loving, relational person on the planet, yeah, and you don't understand that that sun sign is who you think you are, what you want, and what you aspire to be, and you don't realize that you are becoming that. Yeah, you are here to learn to be that principle symbolized by Libra, that human principle. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then you're going to run into trouble if you don't know your moon sign, because in actuality, you are your moon sign. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Trying to become your sun sign. It's a journey. So Libra's prime directive is to bring balance and justice and to civilize society. It's the first time in the zodiac, because all of these signs also represent stages of human development. So you start with Aries, newborn, firstborn. I'm here, woo! The first fire sign, spark with impulse to lead, to initiate, to break new ground, and then you end up with its opposite. Yeah, opposite it is the first time that we encounter other. So we want to relate. Now, this doesn't mean that Librans are running around being all loving and sweet and passive. Far from it. The principle is not just one of getting a man. Yeah, the principle of Libra is about balance, is about justice and harmonizing and civilizing our interactions with the other. Yeah. So if you don't realize, and if you'll notice, some of the greatest social justice warriors, like Bob Geldof, Bono, Kofi Annan, and our own Margaret Thatcher, who wasn't much of a social justice warrior, but she was the Iron Lady. Yeah. And if you realize that fact, you will realize that it's about justice and civilization and socialization and reflection of the other. So if you are expecting, if you're running around, and I've had many a Libran tell me, they were relieved. They were actually relieved when I said to them, no, I'm not very Libran. I'm not loving and girly. And I'm like, Libra is not about that. Yeah. Libra is also about balancing masculine and feminine principles. So you will have Libran women who are very they're man magnets for one, but they're very feminine in their delivery, because even the Iron Lady, Maggie Thatcher, she always had her hair done. Yeah, she fancied herself. Yeah, oh, she did. She fancied herself. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And but I think the main reason they're so popular with the guys is not because they're the ultimate in femininity. It's because they understand better the masculine principle. Yeah, and they understand how to balance it with the feminine. So men find them very empathetic. They just find them easy to get on with. But lay people think, everyone fancies Librans, everyone fancies Kim K, everyone used to fancy Michael Douglas, God knows why. Yeah, everyone fancies Catherine Zeta-Jones, and they are actually born on the same day.
Wow.
Yeah, they're two people who got married that were born on the same day, and they share that birthday with Will Smith. Yeah, and in the past they used to get together to celebrate their birthdays. Yeah, all of them, Will Smith and Michael Douglas and Cathy Zeta-Jones. So yes, I think that it is extremely helpful when you're dealing with, in a struggle, dichotomy. Yes. So for example, you now know that you are not Cancer yet. You are aspiring to become Cancer. You see yourself and identify as Cancer, and you value the Cancer principles, which are to feel. Cancer is the first encounter with water in this chart. Yeah. And you're the adolescent in terms of the human development. And this is the first time I feel. So you encountered your feelings. You got to learn to express them in a more consistent way, yeah, rather than moody. And you have to teach us, yeah, about how to feel, how to protect those feelings, and how to make family. It's the first time we want to belong to a tribe. We're claiming our tribe and claiming our feelings. Yeah. Now, if you think that you're a Cancer already, yeah, but really you have the moon in Aquarius, you are going to have a dichotomy that's difficult for you to understand, because Aquarius is all about being cerebral and intellectual. Yeah, and a fire starter. They pride themselves, their prime directive is to reform, renovate, yeah, society, everybody, especially their friends, yeah. And they see themselves as, the Vulcans, the age of Aquarius, where they're bringing logic, yeah, liberty and fraternity for all, yeah, in a very, very, a very logical way. They're not very good at dealing with that enormously infantile shadow.
We talked about that. Yeah,
just like
very insightful for me too, because I was like, when you said that, that's part of, my birth, that's under my birth sign. It's not just Cancer, but and Aquarius, and Aquarius is trying to think everything out. And so when you guys see me, when I'm doing these, these videos, and I'm going into detail, and I'm doing all this research and everything, that's the, the Aquarius side of me. But there's also the darker side of Aquarius is in that, things don't go our way, we're a little bit immature about Aquarius.
You just don't. You see, as we discussed before, those of Aquarius moon, if the sun is in water, yeah, which is all about feeling, yeah, or seeing things through the lens of feeling. It doesn't. Water signs are not all gushing people. Your element does not tell us about your behavior necessarily. It tells us about how you filter. So any information gets filtered first and foremost through how you feel about it. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is, if you've got the moon in Aquarius and the sun in water, yeah, you find it very difficult to accept resistance to your fire starting. So you want to be a catalyst, yeah.
And I sure am a fire starter. You guys know that.
Exactly. And that's why, even though you made a family, you've made a tribe, that has to be a new and different tribe that's pioneering. And it's very difficult for a moon in Aquarius with a water sun to accept that you're not going to be loved when you reform. Not by everyone. Some will love you, and those who cannot keep up with you or do not want you to rock their boat or knock their hustle, they will not appreciate it. Now, if the sun was somewhere else in say, maybe fire or air, you would be much more able to cope with the feelings of disapproval that may come your way, because like I said, you're making a family. You're all about the family. Yeah, you're all about a tribe. You're all about being nurturing to your tribe. Yeah. But you do so in a very, very strident social political way. That is what Moon Aquarius does. It is social political, and it reforms. Simple as that. So I hope that's. I hope. Well, basically, I described this. I described the sun. The prime directive, what you're trying to become and how you identify. Oh, I'm Cancer, I'm so loving, I'm so caring. Yeah. But you're actually getting there. And
Right.
the moon, which is your feeling nature, your instinctive nature, yeah, more or less your subconscious nature, but who you actually are and what you're starting with on your journey to get to that sun sign goal and prime directive. And like I say, Libra wants to affect justice, balance in society and between, more than one party. And Cancer wants to make a tribe, yeah, and nurture. It's as simple as that. So the moon is who you really are instinctively, and your past, and it tells us about your mother, and all, what you come in with and what you need. Yeah, the sun is what you want. The moon is what you need. Yeah. Moon in say Aquarius needs to be the reformer, needs to have a lot of groups and influence over the new shape of society, yeah, in their era. So that was the sun and the moon. So the rising sign, the ascendant, is the kind of car that you drive to get to from the moon to the sun. It's the front door, and that is much more indicative of actual behavior. Yeah, much more indicative.
That was interesting, because I found out that I deliver in a Leo way, which is, on retrospect, makes a lot of sense.
And to be honest with you, that is what you are supposed to do. Yeah, and it makes it a lot easier to reconcile these the struggle and the dichotomies. You're thinking, well, I'm Cancer, and so because it helps you not to project and reject whole parts of yourself. If you limit yourself to one set of characteristics and one idea about who you are, it's not a good idea. So now you and anybody else that goes to a professional, trained, to interpret the whole map, you now don't have to project your Leo rising. You don't have to deny your Aquarius moon needs, all in pursuit of this Cancer identity. You can embrace them and say, yes, I'm a Cancer, and the goal is tribe and nurturance and family. Yeah, but I need to do it in a revolutionary way. And I need to deliver as a Leo. And there is nothing wrong with that. There's no longer a conflict between what I'm supposed to be a Cancer. Yeah, I'm supposed to be.
You guys, when she explained it, it made perfect sense. It was my life, like the whole, strumming my pain.
I didn't do any singing.
No, like seriously, it was like.
And
you don't understand it, and you're like, oh, okay, and it just makes sense,
Now, can I say one thing? Since we're talking about Aquarius, Aquarius is not a water sign. The water bearer is not a water sign. It's the coldest of the air signs. No, hell no, it's not a water sign. And can we just clear this up, because it's making me reach for the sangria. I haven't got any sangria tonight because I'm so exhausted and dehydrated that I couldn't dare to have sangria. But nobody in the history of the world was born with the sun on the cusp. Okay, cusps are these lines here that divide up your birth map, and those are the astrological houses. So the planets are the what. Yeah, for example, Saturn, I structure; Venus, to relate. Yeah, Mars, to take action, and the signs tell us how you do it. Yeah, so if you've got Mars in Capricorn, no matter what your sun sign is, no matter what your moon sign is, what you're rising, you will take action in a Capricornian way, slowly, methodically, with authority. Yeah, and enormous amounts of ambition. So the planet represents the what. They represent human drives, that we all have. The sign of the zodiac represents the flavor of that, the how. we do it. And the house represents where we do it. Yeah, so if, I'll say it slowly, if we have Mars, the planet of action, how we assert, yeah, and how we sex it up, yeah, yeah, in Capricorn, yeah, so we're gonna assert and sex it up in a very Capricornian way, and that combo is in the 10th house, then a lot of our action, yeah, and our assertion is going to be about our career and our public image in that sphere of human life. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
I hope so. I didn't want to get too technical because I don't teach. I can't be bothered. They're great experts out there for that. Oh, which reminds me, before I get on to no cusps, please. Yeah, there are not all astrologers are created equal. Okay. I've told you the difference between pop astrologers who only just give off stereotypes and know the stereotypes rather well and can say it in an engaging way. And there are professionals. I am a humanistic psychological astrologer, so trained in that. I'm also a specialist in relationships and family dynamic. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Other humanistic astrologers could specialize in other areas, but there are also different types of astrologers. There are financial astrologers, and all of Wall Street are very familiar with them. And they specialize in financial astrology. Yeah, they're money guys and often accountants as well. Yeah, and they don't do what I do, and I don't do what they do. I can give an overview of your relationship to resources from a psychological point of view. Yeah. And just things like that. But if you want detailed look, this is when to do it. This is when the energies. You go to the financial boys. Now they can understand what I do to a degree, and I can understand what they do to a degree. But we are specialists. It's like a medical doctor. I do eyes, and you do you do bones. Mm-hmm. Yeah, all MDs can understand basics of human of the human body, but they specialize, and that's the same with astrology. There are mundane astrologers who deal with the social political things, and as I said before, countries have birth maps, dogs have birth maps, companies have birth maps, and for the record, America is Cancer, and I won't say that joke again. Russia is Scorpio, surprise, surprise, and Britain is Capricorn.
Wait, Russia's Scorpio? No, I can see. I mean, the United States, July 4th, Declaration of Independence. Yes. That's Cancer.
But we had this joke before. I'll tell it again for those who weren't there. It's typically Cancerian, isn't it? It's very, very clannish. America, try America. God bless America, and we're loving. We're the nurturer.
We're a melting pot. Come over here.
But we're coming over to give you love and democracy, but we're going to take you.
Yes, exactly.
That's what Cancer does. But give me your resources.
Join our family or else.
Exactly, and we'll take your resources because Cancer does that. You see, what people don't understand about Cancer is it's very clannish. So it does love and it is nurturing, or it's trying to get to that, yeah? Mm-hmm. But only those in the circle of trust. Mm-hmm. Yeah, outside, you're fair game. And they will come after your resources.
I wonder if China is Aquarius.
I can't remember. How can I forget what China is? I'll look it up. Yeah, I can't
just
remember.
It's all about just duty, honor.
Well, that's not Aquarius.
At all.
No, Aquarius is rabble rousing. They're anti-establishment. So I don't know. I can't remember.
So they can't be so.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, China's conformist. Very
but there is a side of Aquarius, because it is ruled by both Saturn and Uranus. There is a side of Aquarius, as we've discussed many times, that is extremely draconian. Mm-hmm. We've discussed this many times. So we're going to have revolution, equality, communism, but if you don't do it my way, I will kill you.
Right.
So yes, maybe you're right, because I momentarily forgot about that draconian. Very, you all have to be uniform. It's all very Handmaid's Tale. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So back to cusps. Yeah. For the last time, the sun like any other entity, cannot be in two places at once. Please don't make me say it again. I really did shout about it in the Pink Pill last week. Yeah. All we need to know, the sun cannot be in two places at once. It's impossible. All we need to know, ask an astrologer, is if you were born before or after the sun changed signs. So if the sun changed signs at 4 o'clock, yeah, on the 22nd of December, yeah, and you were born at 4:05, yeah, you are a Capricorn. If you were born at 3:55, you are a Sag. Full stop. I don't want to hear I'm a bit of this and a bit of that. No, no, no. You may have many other planets like Venus, Mercury in the following sign or the sign preceding, and that will give your map a flavor of that sign. But it's not because the sun is in two places at once. No. And for the record, I'll say it again. When the sun first goes into a sign, yeah, 0 degrees Virgo is 0 degrees Virgo. It's at its most impactful. Bam! I just went into Virgo. Not at its least strength. So no, and no again. Okay.
There's a lot to take on. So if a person wants to learn more about themselves through psychological astrology, and they're seeking out an expert like yourself, what are some of the things, what are the tips that you would say that you as a person who's interested, what road should they take to try to find a quality person that's compatible in that way for them?
Well, if they're a Black woman, come to me, because I am, as far as I know, yeah. I mean, obviously times change. I'm sure there may be a few more, but I am, and what I was the only Black woman that I ever saw hanging around the CPA, properly trained by the best in psychological astrology. Yeah. Now, oh God, I think I better take that back, because I'm gonna have thousands of yeah, I'll have a waiting list of 7 years. I've already got a long one now. But if you don't come to me, I would say, first of all, where were they trained? Now, I'm not saying that there are no self-taught great astrologers. Santos Bonacci and other people I know to be absolutely fantastic, yeah? And, but we're talking about if they are self-taught, then they need to have a lot of years under their belt. The more seasoned, the better, yeah? That's one thing.
This was something that you did. Like, this was something that, and you're actually have come out of retirement and semi-retirement.
Well, now we're going to blame the Aquarius moons, yeah? And I'm not telling your business, because everyone knows by now, yeah? Mm-hmm. Catalyst, Kendall, St. Charles, where are you? BB, Brooklyn Blue. She put a rocket.
Yeah. Up your hindquarters.
Up my derriere.
That's with everybody else.
and I was just gonna write a book, yeah. Mm-hmm. And keep a distance. I was not interested in Facebook. I didn't know it. I wasn't interested in YouTube, yeah. I first became interested by reading the blogs of some of our great sheroes, yeah, in this sector, the Black woman centric sector, yeah. Although my career has always been mainstream, I'm a Black woman, and E. Sharon Moore, the great Hannah Anderson, Khadija Nassif. I started reading their stuff, and I read your book, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. And then it was the beautiful Libran Asia Simone. I started reading Asia, and she mentioned this Brooklyn Blue, the rabble rouser. Where are you at? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I discovered her. She blew my mind. That's when she was on YouTube a couple of years ago, and I just felt she combined a lot of the things that I've always been interested in, and she reignited my interest. And then we got friendly, and between the two of you and Asia and Isadora Storm, and some great champions of this social media age, I just thought, yeah, let me join the fray, let me bring my skill set, back to the table for
like that. There's
for all women, but I'm a black woman, so why not? Especially for the sisters, why not?
Yeah, definitely. And that's why I wanted to get you out there and help you to get the word out that you have this skill, that there is something out there that can help guide you. And here's the thing, a lot of black women, we feel rudderless. I mean, we feel like, we're out. The reason why we found each other in the first place is because we know that there's something off. We know something isn't right, or we're not feeling whole. And so, you seek that out, and you sort of put out an SOS signal. And then that signal is picked up by other women. And so you become this community of people who are saying, yeah, you're my sister, and this is how we see life. And you form this community. But
you formed the community. Yes. Almost single-handedly.
In that, though, there are all these offshoots of things that we can use to help each other, because I'm not the be-all and end-all.
No. I'm saying we all have a lane, and I wish some people would stay in their lane. Yes, you know who you are. You know who you are. Yeah, and I'm old enough to say what I mean and mean what I say.
I said what I said. Yes.
Exactly. But what I'm trying to say is we all have our lane, and I agree with you, we all have different skills to bring to the table. Why I say you made the home, because you are a Cancer. So you made the the sociological, for me, say that word for me, familial, I can never say it right, place for us to gather, My girl Kendall, the Pisces genius, she gave us the underground, the dark side that we didn't want to look at, But I'm so glad many are, Asia Simone gives us the social political, remember Libra, about justice, And I hope I can bring the psychological and cosmic, view to the table.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying.
You guys, this is just another element, another layer of us evolving and realizing our true potential. And that's why I wanted to bring Sonya to you guys, because this is an important aspect. I'm looking at the chat room now, and there are people who are saying, Sonya, how do I get in touch with you?
Okay.
Or there are people in the chat room who's like, well, I don't know what time I was born. Am I doomed? How can I?
No, not at all. Your Americans are lucky, because on your birth certificate, you normally have your birth, the time of birth on there. If it's not, then you just apply to the hospital where you were born. And if it's closed down, the records will have gone somewhere, and for a fee they will tell you your time. Failing that, you can before that you can look on your baby books, you can ask your mother, if she's reliable, and failing all of that, we can actually do a rectification, and it's a system by which we use a computer program, and we input significant events of your life, and the computer program, together with our skill, will come up with the most likely time of birth for you. So no, all is not lost.
Adopted, so they.
Yeah, I understand. And even if you don't have a time of birth, and like I said, we can do a rectification service, which will get us closer. But even failing that, the sun and the moon alone. I mean, Chris, what happened when you found out, I've got the moon in Aquarius? We cannot get the houses, the rising sign accurately and where everything is. But we can gain a hell of a lot of information just from the sun and the moon, and what sign the planets are in, even if we don't know what house they're in. So it's still useful. And the first consultation I offer is for those who are a bit scared, is the sun and moon the sun sign, moon sign introduction, where we just go on the sun and the moon. And God help us if the sun changed signs on the day you were born that year, or the moon.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, no, then I can actually tell pretty accurately from how you behave in front of me, the moon sign, yeah, and from the way you describe yourself and what you identify with, what seems important to you, what you want, yeah. Once we're speaking, even, you know, I can generally take a very, very, very good guess. Yeah. So I've got a new, thanks to you two, yeah, my little champions. I've now graduated to social media, and today I went live. You know, early days, so just be patient with me. Yeah, I'm a crone. Be patient with me, because we are over the next couple of weeks going to make them hopefully fabulous. Yeah, but we've just published Sonya Star Soul, which is my new Facebook page, which is public. Yeah, because astrology is it's generic, it's universal, but within Sonya Star's Soul, there will be spaces where you can have strictly womb centric, sister centric content, yeah, so that we don't have the prying eyes of the boys and the haters, yeah. But that's for all women, all sisters of the rainbow, yeah, who are cool, yeah. Sisters with soul. And well, we won't go into another space that might be interesting, and that's invitation only. We spoke about that in Big Bill, but yes, just to say, for those who are what I call salvageable, yeah, and part of our tribe, there is going to be an additional space where we can have the kind of conversations from a cosmic view that we have, courtesy of yourself and Kendall, yeah. So yeah, and then we have the YouTube.
I'll make sure to put the links to everything at the bottom of this, because you're also going to be on YouTube, right?
I am. The YouTube channel was also went live today. Again, it's a work in progress. Plus, I wanted to kind of get a feel for what you wanted. What do people really want? Yeah, and we'll tailor the channel accordingly. Yeah, I have to give a shout out to very special people.
Your channel?
Sonya Stars and Soul.
Yeah? Sonya Stars and Soul. Okay.
Yeah, and the Facebook is also going to be Sonya Stars and Soul, but right now we are unable to put the and. So the Facebook for now is Sonya Stars Soul, but it will get the and the YouTube is Sonya Stars and Soul, and it's only going to be one channel. Yeah, I'm going to have 1,000 channels. No, sorry.
Is it the ampersand or the actual word?
The ampersand.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, so that's where I can be got. Yeah, and I'll still be knocking around the pink pill and our mutual friends spaces as I was. Obviously, I'm going to have.
You're going to be very busy, because I can tell
I'm going to have less time.
There's a lot of women, because you went on when we went live in Pink Pill last week, and there were a lot of people who were seeking your insight, and I think that this is definitely, and I think that it's a good time in terms of the collective consciousness of where people are right now.
It's the age of Aquarius,
of being a little bit more attuned to spirituality, their place in the world and the universe and energy. And so I think it's a good time for you to be doing what you're doing.
Well, it was a good time for other groups. It's been a good time since the age of Aquarius kicked in, and just before it. Yeah, it was time. One of the things that happened was the resurrection of ancient arts. Yeah, into the public consciousness. Yeah, but particularly for Black women, yeah, it's been a kind of go area.
Right.
So I'm glad that many are breaking away from the prohibition. Yeah. Some people who use it themselves. Yeah.
This is of the devil, and so we're starting to see there's definitely a loosening of those restrictions that we put on ourselves. So we can't do this, or we can't study this, or we can't, go down this road because, something may happen that's awful. And so,
well, to be honest with you, I don't know how much more awful it can get for a lot of melanated sisters, or what I call Aboriginal Americans, indigenous Aboriginal. But we won't go into that. You know my views. I think everyone knows my views. Yeah, that we are indigenous. So we're reclaiming our land. We're reclaiming our our inheritance, and that also goes for the esoteric arts, which I believe originated with us, girls, the women, especially the melanated women. But that's another long story. I wanted to say, if you don't mind, I'm also going to be integrating my two sides. So, the showman and the scholar are going to unite again. So I'll be doing rants and reviews and all sorts of fun stuff and top tens, my top 10 Aries divas. Did you know Aretha, Celine Dion, Mariah Carey, Chaka Khan, all these people are Aries?
I had no idea.
Nearly all the divas. It's crazy, apart from my beloved Gladys Knight, who's a Gemini, and Whitney was a Leo. But so we're having a lot of fun, and I was inspired to do that by you must check out her channel, by the lovely Vina Love at Vina Entertainment. She is lovely. You will love her because she is a true sister. She understands sisterhood the way that we do. Yeah, and a shout out to Nick in Greece. You know who you are. He managed to get the crone over the finish line. So thank you very much.
Well, if you're looking, I mean, if crones are looking like you these days, then I'll be dancing into crondom.
You're pre-crone. You haven't got anything to worry about for another 10 years. I wanted to say that you and our mutual friend, Baby Blue, and Asia, and Easy, and a few others, really demonstrate in action sisterhood. In action. Yeah. Not faux sisterhood, not crabs in the barrel, not all this ridiculous backbiting and envy. Yeah, don't get me started. Yeah, and I'm really, really, really grateful to you. Thank you so very much for giving me a leg up. Yeah, on social media. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Yeah, I really do, and I think you're my pearl who swirls and a champion. Thank you.
So you guys need to check out Sonya's Stars and Soul on YouTube, and Sonya Stars Soul on Facebook until she gets that ampersand. And you also are launching a site as well, right? So
yeah. The WordPress website will be along probably in about a month. Yeah, and it's unfortunately, because I'm not that fond of it, although you guys have got me on it every minute now. I preferred to have a website as you do, because you're not at the mercy of Facebook or YouTube, and your content has a home.
Today, and they said you got to get your own site, because otherwise you're at the mercy of whatever whims
That's right.
owns it, has, and it's absolutely true.
I think there needs to be a place where your videos can be embedded, so that should the worst happen, then it can they can know where to come and find you, and you're not radio silent. Yeah,
exactly, and dependent on other people's platforms that they built. So build your own, and then you don't have to worry about it. It's your real estate. It's the same as in real life. If you have your own thing, you're not dependent on other people's. You're not building your house on somebody else's property.
That's right.
So that's the way to go. So you guys, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Sonya, for enlightening us on what psychological astrology is. And I will make sure that I put the links in. Sonya, is it okay to put your email in the description box too? So if you want to reach out to you, and
that email will change in about it will change by next week, but yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so we will do that, and you guys check her out. Definitely.
Yeah, what we'll do is we'll change it if you don't mind. You've been very gracious. We can change it in the comment box when the new one,
absolutely.
which will be probably Sonya Stars, so gmail.com. But we just need to iron out a few bugs. So patience with me, and thank you. Love you, my little bird as well.
Love you too. All right, guys. Until next time.
Bye bye.